Alright, welcome to the 3-3-30, my shoulder and arm day. 3 muscle groups, 3 supersets, in 30 minutes. Yeah, I accidentally came up with it one time about a year ago or so where I was in a big rush and I was just trying to get in a quick workout. So my first superset is going to be just your regular tricep extensions. Just some alternating dumbbell curls, just some dumbbell shoulder flies, just to get started. So I'm going to do those 3 in a cycle. I really need to try and get better at warming up because I was about to just start my set, but I need to at least shake it out or something. So I just grab some 5s or 10s or whatever. This honestly just feels good. I don't know if it's like a proper warm up. But something I also want to talk about through this workout, this podcast I've been listening to a bunch recently, that Nick Barr podcast about 6 things you need to stop doing to take control of your life. And one of the things that it talked about, or one of the 6 things, was talking about change in your life and how you respond to it and how you use it as fuel or whatever. And I'm just going to kind of be talking about that a little bit. But all that being said, let's get started. So I'm going to start my workout on my watch. And the goal is to do each of these supersets in 10 minutes, which some could take longer, some could be faster, just depends. So I got my watch going. Now I'm going to start with my shoulder flies. There's multiple ways to do these. It just depends how I'm feeling that day or what part of my shoulder I'm trying to hit. So you could go more wide, like I just did, or you could do more straight in front, or both. Like some sets I'll be doing this. I'll go out, then in, then out, then in. And that's probably the best one. One thing I really focus on when I'm doing any sort of flies or with cables, dumbbells, whatever, for chest or shoulders, I never do straight arm. Like I never have it fully locked out straight where I'm doing this, because that honestly just hurts. And I feel like that's asking for an injury in your shoulder. So what I really focus on is keeping my elbow locked at like a, not 90 degrees at all, but whatever angle this is, just a little bend to hold it like this. And keep it in that same position the whole time. And it just feels a lot better rather than straight arm. Then your tricep extensions, this is the staple. There's also 2 different ways to do this one. If you're trying to get your back involved more, you can kind of sit further back and let your arms go all the way like this. And then pull and then extend. So you can do it like this. Or you can just, this is probably the more effective way for triceps. You're going to go like this and just stop it at 90. So you're not going all the way back up. You're just going down, stop at 90. And then the last part of my first superset is just dumbbell bicep curls. Right, doing my first set, I usually do 3 per superset. But now, starting to talk about change. I gotta get my phone out to read this because I don't want to butcher it. He says you're doing these things because you've previously done them out of habit or routine, and you can be doing some things that are very uncomfortable, hard, or challenging. But because it's been routine, or you've been doing it in autopilot for so long, that it's actually comfortable and easy. Even if you are doing hard things like doing a hard workout or going for that long run or pushing yourself at work, that even though it seems to be uncomfortable from the outside looking in, if you've been doing it for so long in autopilot, it's not difficult. You've been doing it for so long. So say there's a Tesla going, you're in auto drive, and it's going the same speed, same direction, and the only way it's going to change is if you tell it to change, or if it hits a huge wall or obstacle. The only way it's going to change is if you hit a button to change it, or it hits a huge obstacle. And that's kind of a good way to look at it. Like in life, if you're in autopilot and you're so comfortable doing these same things for months, even years, then when you hit that one big change in your life, if you aren't challenging yourself, it's going to wreck you. You're not going to be ready for it. So I think that's a really cool way to look at it. Started my second set of my first superset still, and I'll probably change it up. So I did these wide ones. Now I'm going to go to a blend of both. Alright, done with my second. Another good thing he was talking about was if you can't change something in your life, then change your perspective on it, or change the way you think about it. Because what good is it and who benefits if you're just hating something that you're doing and you're just complaining about it? So I think it's important to identify things in your life that you don't like the way they're going right now, and you've tried to change them, but you can't. Like, it is what it is. I think it's important that you identify those and you attack them and say, alright, I'm just going to change the way I think about it, change my perspective. It's funny, my dad's, if he sees this, he's going to laugh. He always told us growing up, zoom out, which was so annoying. He would always say that. But if you just see something and it's like this huge, huge problem in your life and it's killing you, if you zoom out and look at the whole world, is it really that big of a deal? And he always said that, so it was so annoying. If you did anything wrong or anything, he'd always start the zoom out, and then you'd finish the sentence and you know where he was going with it. So I think that's actually funny that I'm talking about it now. But yeah, just change your perspective on it and use that as fuel instead of complaining about it, hating it. That's just going to slowly eat away at you, and you're just going to be miserable all the time. Yeah, so every set for these I kind of changed up. My first set I did strictly wide. Second set I did a blend, every rep switching. And then that one I did a certain amount this way and then a certain amount this way. Pretty much burnout. Alright, so I finished up my first superset. Now I'm getting into my second. I'm going to start it off with some standing military shoulder press, which this one's brutal. It is not fun. Personally, it's where I've seen the most growth. I like to go up every set, so start with 25s. Alright, for my second exercise in this superset, I'm going to be doing reverse flies. And there's a ton of different ways to do this, depending on what muscle you want to hit, the exact spot, all that. So I won't go into it too much. I'll start rambling. But I like to combine a little bit of tricep with this, especially when I'm doing it on shoulder and arm days. So a normal way to do it would be you get on, and you do not need much weight at all for this. This is a normal one where you're just going straight across. That's hitting your upper back kind of trap area. But what I like to do, you get the same grip, but you're going to go across and down. So it's two movements into one. So you go across like this, you get here, and then extend down. And then you combine those two. So it's a pull, then that. And then you speed it up once you get the flow, and you just go like this. And then for my bicep move, you have your opposite knee up, and you're just going to do single arm, face curls like this. And you're keeping that elbow locked in the same position the whole time. So you're keeping that tension all the way back, all the way forward. Each set, for this exercise, I like to go up and weight down in reps. This is where it really gets brutal, that last set. Right now getting into my third superset, final one for the day. But this one's pretty funny. So when I started working out, however many years ago, I thought it was so funny. I really wanted to have big traps. So I would just spam shrugs. Like the split I was doing when I first started working out, it was kind of like a push-pull. I did chest tries, and then I would do back and shoulders, which honestly was a really good day. It was funny though because I wouldn't do biceps because my dad told me that biceps are just for looks. And I mean, he's right, they are just for looks, and they're not, like someone's coming to fight you, you're not using your biceps to push them out, you're using your triceps to push them back or whatever, to hit whatever. You're never using your biceps other than to try and look pretty. So I wouldn't train biceps. I was really firm about that. I was like, I just want to get stronger, I don't care. So it was pretty funny, but now I train biceps. But I would just spam shrugs because I really wanted to grow my traps for some reason. I don't know why. But anyways, this I kind of came up with. So usually there's shrugs, like either use the barbell or this, whatever. People just go like this. And what I've started to do to try and hit even more of like my upper back too, not just my traps, is you got to trust the machine. You got to put your feet out. It feels really awkward. It feels like you're falling. If you let go of this, you're going back. So you lean back and it doesn't look pretty. I'll probably make some weird faces, and you just pull, instead of this, just like that. You don't really get much from that. Leaning back, you give them more motion. So yeah. Already burning. I don't do much traps anymore. They kind of naturally get hit on back days and through other shoulder stuff I do, like flies. And then this tricep move I've really been into recently. It's really good. So you've probably seen stuff like this, but it's a little different. So so when you're doing like single arm overhead extensions with the dumbbell or on cables, whatever, most people are like this, and this is what I used to do until like literally a month ago, where you're kind of bent out like this, which is still very beneficial. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But if you change it and angle yourself forward more and keep that just straight up instead of more out, you're gonna go straight up. It's hitting this outside part of your tricep that doesn't really get hit much. And so it'll burn. The first few times I did, I was like sore to the touch. I do 10 pounds, and that might be too much. Like literally, you do not need much feels at all. You're just squeezing. And then I kind of got off topic with talking about change. But one of the last things he said towards the end of the podcast was, he said, stop waiting for change to happen because it could be years and years, a decade, or never happen in your lifetime. You could get all the way to 70 or 80 and look back and be like, where did the time go? Why didn't I change? Why did I just kind of sit in that season of life and not do anything about it and have regrets? So I think it's important to write down, what I was kind of talking about earlier is identify those problems, write them down, or not, don't write them down, whatever, just identify them in your head and be like proactive about it. So be like, what do I need to change about this or that to become more happy, more fulfilled, and more passionate about whatever you're doing, whether that's work, working out, family time, anything, or pursuing a relationship with the Lord. Just be more passionate about it, identify it, change, and then be more happy, more fulfilled. So yeah, that's kind of the last thing I got on there, but still finishing up the workout. My last bicep thing, this is pretty funny. I'm sure some people do them, but I do them plate curls. And these are nice because these are like the retro weights. I love these. My dad had these like before I was even born. So you can kind of grip it like this. Most plates have those holes that you can grab, which is fine, but this is better because it gets your forearms into your grip strength better. So you grip it like this, just your four fingers, leave your thumbs out, and you're gonna pin your elbows to your stomach. It's gonna feel weird, like it kind of looks like I'm just like flexing or sitting here like that, because you kind of are. That's the way you gotta hold it to get the right burn. So you pin your elbows like this, and just go all the way up, and just keep it like that. And it's funny, the first time I showed one of my friends this, it was at the very end of the workout. We were both dead. We were done. And I was like, all right, let's do a burnout of this. And he was like, what, did you learn this in prison? It was so funny. it's really important to make sure you keep those elbows pinned, like I was saying. Because if you're just out here like going like this, you're still going to get that bicep. But if you start swinging like that, it gets kind of sloppy. It's not really as effective as keeping it pinned. You might do less reps because it's harder, but especially with biceps, it's not all about reps. It's about that squeeze and just getting in the right spot. So keep it pinned. I really got to order a mic or something so I can at least have some background music because it's painfully quiet. Alright, so that wraps up my 3-3-30 workout, which today was far from the 30 because I didn't account for the talking and all the rambling. But yeah, definitely try it sometime. If you just do 3 supersets, each of those supersets has a bicep, tricep, shoulder, 3 or 4 sets, whichever feels right. And if you just limit yourself to 10 minutes each superset, you'll be done in 30. But today I'm way past that, just rambling. But yeah, I didn't talk a ton about change, but just a few things that I took away from that podcast I was talking about. So, but yeah, I hope that was helpful and kind of gave you some motivation because it definitely left me feeling motivated. But yeah,